All right, so as soon as I got done doing that video, just the last one, like literally where I just stopped and started uploading it to YouTube for tomorrow morning, um, Evelyn replied. She goes, "Yep, I'm leaving now." She had to pump one more time. Pump it up. Uh, I guess to give him some milk there while she was there. I don't know. She says, so Fred the Indian, as I mentioned back in April, was a very spiritually active time, I guess, for me, my two buddies, JC and Dave, and my wife. I was just bringing her up because I was like, well, they're gone. I've got a week up here by myself. You want to just come up, have Joanna watch the kids with her kid, and they just stay at the house for a while, for like a week, and me and you will just, kind of make a road trip out of it. I'll show you some of the stuff around here, and because I'd been telling her some of the Indian things we're invited to do, the ceremonies, and she's like, "Oh gosh, I wish I could do that. Oh man, I'm so jealous." So opportunity came up. She came, and this is around the time that Ian was conceived. By the way, again, very special time. There's no way that some of this stuff was coincidental to me. And we get this call or text from this other uh, Indian woman we know. That's a Lakota from the Lakota tribe, and she says, "Hey, there's this Indian guy in town." Um, she goes, "I'm not sure if it's like a uh, what exactly it is there, but she's like, it's some kind of healing ceremony or some kind of ceremony. The guy's truck broke down. We need to try to get his truck fixed. So we're asking for a specific $100 donation." And I said, "Well, count me and my wife in separately. I'll give you a couple $100 to get his truck fixed." He just goes around doing this all over the country. It's just him and his wife. And she said, this woman said, "Okay, here's the address and be there around this time." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." So it was just, the weather was nice. We went outside the backyard of this person's house, not Fred the Indian, but the person that let him, or maybe knew him, say, "Hey, let's do this in my backyard. We'll get a little area and chairs and all that stuff." And I don't know if we brought chairs. I don't think we brought chairs. I think maybe they already had chairs. But so again, I didn't know what this was, and for me, I didn't want anything out of it. I didn't want, oh, I need some healing. I need this or that. I didn't even know what to expect. I thought we're just, I already did this, participated in the sun dance and moon dance at this other person's house, Michael, I told you guys about, and his wife. I was honored, it was cool, good experience, and that was the time in April where we got absolutely no digging, no nothing done anywhere, because we were like, there is something pulling us in this direction spiritually. We don't have time for that. Like, that's not that, like, no, yeah. And we almost felt like we were being trialed. Like, let's see if they pass the test. We all felt like maybe that's, spirit was like saying, let's just really see, are you guys really gonna, well, you're here for greed and treasure, go get it. Or are you gonna get a little slight nudge and go do that, the spiritual stuff? And we decided, like, hands down, oh, there's no question, we're going over there spiritually. We did visit the site a couple times, but not to do anything digging wise. We did a couple of ceremonies at the site, our digging area. So I'm there to support this guy, and I've not told this story, but you never know. There's new subscribers coming all the time. I'll just tell it again, briefly, as brief as I can. I see this man, and when you're looking at a pure-blooded Indian person, there's no question. The second you see them, that guy's an Indian. He's not Indian slash, 25% Caucasian. No Caucasian. 100% Indian. And I thought, okay, I've always wanted to, like, make this little digging spot where we are. Like, I know the Indians dwell there. I need permission, man, from them. This was their land. And I'm going to try to find something on their former land, if you will, to give back to them and help them move forward today. This treasure stuff. But I'm on their sacred grounds, and Sharon Michelle told me very specifically a huge. I have two audio files from Sharon Michelle, by the way, One was 8 or 9 minutes, I think, and the other one was nearly a half hour of what she got psychically when she was doing a channeling session for crypto. After that, they stopped and said, all right, let's do one for Joe. And when I heard what she had to say about this place on the side of this, mountainous area, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Not so, even though, yeah, treasure stuff, cool, but it was sacred grounds, natural cavern in there. It's all covered up. It's all hidden. It was a very sacred place to the Indians way before the Spanish or anybody came over here. She goes like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 years ago, like a long time ago. She says, I can clearly see ceremonies being done down there. If you get into there, she says, you're going to see the remnants of stuff. Look at the walls, look at the area. You're going to know, oh my God, this was a former site of something. There were people here. Could be drawings and things. But, well, that's Evelyn. Let me pause this real quick. Yep, that was old Evelyn. Time stands still when I'm with you. Oh, oh. So, where I was, I see this man, Indian man. I want permission. I know about the Sharon Michelle told me. And at the end of the session, towards the end, Jared, I don't know if he says it to her, prompts her to say it, or where it came from, but he says something to her like if you had one word to describe this place, what would you say? And she had mentioned, like, not just because of what's in there that Joe wants to find, but the cavern system itself being used as it was, and when I just rediscover it, she says, one word comes to mind: spectacular. Just spectacular. I thought, wow. So here, this wonder of the world, potentially, in my mind, has been hidden, covered over by probably the Spanish. They never came back. Bunch of stuff in this whole area is probably sitting out there waiting to be rediscovered, because the Indians wiped them out in 1680. Pretty heavy duty. They did make a little bit of a comeback, but it was never like it was. Again, what we find where we're at, this has not been disturbed since it was put there. I can assure you of that. So I'm just feeling like, okay, Dick Algar senses this Indian spirit there that's kind of guarding this stuff. He's not happy because of what happened to his people. This old place I'm telling you about was a sacred site. He wasn't happy when his people were forced to go in there and slave and take more gold out of the cracks inside the earth. They didn't care about gold, but the Spanish did, and they forced them to work, and they finally had enough, and that was it. So again, I'm like, man, I want permission, but how am I going to get permission from this guy, so to speak, this Indian guy, without telling him what I'm doing? And I don't want to really tell anybody what I'm doing, just trying to keep it quiet. So, because you're going to have people trying to claim jump you and all this, just get your stuff. Although the one side I keep telling you about, ain't no one claim jumping that one, because that's my buddy's site, his house, his property. But there's other ones that are not. You could get a mining claim and that kind of thing. But anyways, so I'm sitting there debating, do I ask him to heal my foot, because I've had that foot problem for a while. Since 2009, I injured it. I've had 3 surgeries. It's never been right, but it's the best it's ever been. But I go through bad days and good times. Usually when I'm out hiking in the mountains, once I come home, oh, it hurts for a week. Oh, that's pretty painful. I need to take an ibuprofen. Then it settles down. Like right now, I got back from November. My foot is fine right now. But when I got back, it hurt for a while. So I'm debating myself, do I ask him to heal my foot? And am I really expecting it to be healed? I don't know. What's somebody going to be able to do to it? I've had 3 surgeries on. I don't know. But I also fighting with, I want him to give me permission, or at least ask. And he may say no. Like, oh no, the spirit says no. I'm sorry. But at least I'll know, And then I can decide, well, the hell with spirit, I'm going anyways. Or, man, I think I need to respect that and not go. I didn't know what. I said, well, whatever. We'll see what happens. So I'm watching him go around from person to person. There's about 14, 15 people in this circle. And he told this story, how he was yanked out of his, I guess, tribe somehow. And I don't know how it happened. But as a kid, and he's probably in his 60s now, maybe 70, I don't know, but somewhere around there. And he said, they gave me the name Fred, so that's not my name. My Indian name is such and I don't remember what he said, but he told us his name. He said, but they call me Fred, and, I'm Fred the Indian now. And he said that he'd escape from the boarding school and run into the mountains and just live off the land as long as he could before they would find him and bring him back. And this went on several times. And he got older. Okay, he's out on his own now. He's allowed to be a free man. He's an adult. Decides to join the military. Like, says, "What the hell am I doing? Like, this is weapons of war, and like, that's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Especially as my background as an Indian. Like, this is not spiritual. This is like, what the hell am I doing? Decided, and I don't know how he left the army. Whether he got honorably discharged or what this, I don't know. But or the military. I say army, military. I'm not sure what branch. Comes back and says, I realized what am I doing? So he goes, now look at my weapons. These are my weapons. And he has this blanket thing, look down there. He's got all of his Indian tools, if you will. Bowls, the big feathers from the eagles. And I think it might be a golden eagle. And I meant to ask, like, what kind of eagle is that from? He may have even said it, but I don't remember now. And just different stuff is, sages and all these different things. And he's doing the ceremony and he's doing it in his native language, some of the stuff, He's explaining a little bit from time to time, and I'm just watching. I don't know, I didn't know if that was all that was going to happen. We're going to watch him do these things, because that's kind of how the other ones were that I mentioned to you that we went to, where we're just kind of observing and maybe help a little bit if they ask us to do something. Bang on the drum for us or do this, okay. So I'm like, well, maybe it'll just be that, and we're all going to, get this healing energy or whatever he's doing for us. And that's okay, because I'm just here to help this guy out anyways, and my wife gets to experience something. She's happy, like, oh, finally I get something cool. And then he starts going around from person to person in kind of a clockwise circle. And there's a chair sitting in kind of in front, or maybe I should say the back, with of the area, just to sit. And then he would kind of individually tell people, about themselves or whatever they needed to know. So the first couple of people, I'm listening like, okay, they didn't ask him anything. He's just channeling something, and he's telling them in English, And I'm like watching their reactions, And I can tell pretty quickly, this guy's got something going on. And I want to say maybe 3 people total, and I was one of the 3. I say 3 because somewhere around there. Could have been 4, could have been 2, I don't remember. Before he'd say, okay, come sit down. He would kind of walk around and just feel out like who he needed to go to next, kind of a thing. It was kind of interesting to watch him do that. And then, okay, go sit down in the chair, and they'd sit down, and he would tell them what they needed to know. And again, 2 or 3 times, he said, well, don't sit down yet. Do me a favor, walk around the medicine stuff, the blanket, whatever, and sit down, then sit down. And he would kind of follow right behind the person, almost like he was, like a little hound dog sniffing your energy. Or like, I don't know what was going on, but it was I was interested watching him, and I should have asked, like, well, why did you do that to just a few people rather than like everybody? What does that mean? Or why? I'm just so curious. What was that about? Because he did it to me too, but I never asked. So I'm watching him do this stuff. I'm quite shocked at what he's telling these people, and it would be the equivalent of a psychic person going around telling each individual certain things in a group setting, without knowing any of you, without knowing anything about your life, and just wrapping stuff up. Boop, 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 boop. I just saw a donation come in, $50 from Robert somebody, $50 bill. You guys, $50 bill. We got the money to save the Goonies, the Boondocks, a $50 bill. Goonies. Robert somebody. I didn't see the whole name. Speaking of Fred the Indian and Michael and them help, I'm going to transfer some more PayPal over there today. I did earlier. I'm going to send some more. So I'm pretty intrigued by this man, because I've got all these psychic friends. Of course, they're all white by chance. Although woo-woo friends, not quite white. I'll just leave it at that. But not Indian. None of these people are like Indian, Native American. So to see him do the same kind of thing through his methods, through his great spirit and the rituals and the burning of sages and different, like, it was still, awesome to see him do this and come with the same results, essentially, that maybe a different psychic would get through their means, their ways. So he gets to my wife. All right, come sit down. She didn't have to walk around, just, come sit down. And I'll just say this. I know what I'll tell you, some of the things he said to her. Especially, men and women. This is for men too, but honestly, I think it's more for women than it would be a man. I just think that. I could be wrong. But I know there's a lot of people, again, I think a lot of women, who don't think they have value, or their life has value, or their opinion has value, or they themselves have value to other people. Just that word value. And one of the first things he starts rapping off to my wife. And when this man's talking to you and he's looking right in your eyes with that serious stare, with his like brown Indian eyes, looking through your eyes right into your freaking soul. I'm telling you, because when he looked at me, I was like, okay. He's looking into I felt like he was looking into my soul. I couldn't do that with other people because he was doing it to them, and I'm like a bystander on the side watching sideways, But when he's looking at you, he's not laughing and giggling. Like he's in his mode where I've got information and I'm going to tell you very seriously what you need to know. He's just staring at you like I'm trying to pretend to do right now through this camera. And he's looking at my wife the same way, as everyone else, very serious. He tells her, you have value. Your opinions matter. You are a valuable person. Don't let anyone ever tell you that you're not. You do have value. Your life has value. Like all these words that I knew she needed to hear. That I've never spoke those exact words to my wife. Because I'm thinking to myself, why would I ever just come out and say that? Unless I can clearly see she got a depression issue, she's got something going on, I needed to say this. But at the same time, as I heard the words he was saying to her, I'm like, my God, she needed to hear this. He's so freaking right. And even if me as her husband said it to her, I'm her husband. You'd say anything to me. Oh, you look beautiful today. You didn't do your hair, didn't do makeup. Oh, you look beautiful today, honey. You're the husband. Whatever. Okay. This man got right into it. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just sitting there watching like, damn, this guy's good. And I don't think, even though I was sitting to my wife's side, I don't remember. But I want to say, I don't think I was the very next in line. Like maybe he skipped over me and went to someone else, and then he came back to me. I think, but not that it even matters. So I'm sitting here seeing him say that to her, and I said, there's probably, right now I'm telling you, there's probably a lot of women out there, and some men, and if you're one of them, who's always thought that you didn't have value, your life doesn't have value, I don't know. No, you do. You're here. You're participating on this thing called Earth. Automatically, you have value. But it's greater than that. Don't just think, well, just because I'm here, I have value. No. I am sure you contribute in certain ways that other people don't, and you don't even know it. So, like Fred the Indian said, don't ever let anyone tell you different, okay? So I was pretty shocked by that. But one of the other things he told my wife. Now, first of all, Sharon Michelle saw my wife right after this, just a few days, 2 or 3 days, probably 3 days later, on the trip home. We drove home. And I said, let's stop at Sharon Michelle. She wanted to see Sharon Michelle. Let's go. So we stopped at Sharon Michelle's. And Sharon Michelle told my wife, let me see your hands. Oh, wow, you have healing hands. She goes, that one's a little bit weaker. She goes, come here, let me see your hands. I'm going to do something to bring that energy up. She did some little thing on her hand. She goes, yeah, you have healing hands. You do. So that was interesting. Now, she said that after we met Fred the Indian, just a few days later. But we did not tell, I don't think we just broke out and told Sharon Michelle right off the bat, oh, well, Fred the Indian said this or that. I don't know. I'm not really sure. Maybe my wife did, actually. She's not here at the moment. Maybe I could ask her if she remembered. Maybe she did tell her that, and that's why Sharon said, let me see your hands. Oh yeah, you do have healing hand. Maybe that's how it went. Again, I just don't recall. But Fred the Indian told her, "You're gonna do what I do one day. I go around healing people and doing these ceremonies. You're gonna do what I do. Yeah, you're gonna do what I do. You're gonna heal people." I thought, really? Oh, little Evelyn's gonna do that, huh? Seriously? Okay. She wasn't too much into the woo-woo stuff, at least, prior to that. So I thought that was really interesting. Old Evelyn's gonna have some healing hands and do what he does, as he said. I thought, wow, how is that gonna happen? How is my wife gonna all of a sudden be healing people or doing these sessions or whatever? We're not set up for that here. Like, we're not, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I've got a man cave, and what am I going to invite people over to my man cave? Hey, Evelyn, I'll do the singing bowls, and you do the healing hand thing. Whatever that is. So, some of y'all men don't get. Oh, the healing hand thing, huh? Yeah, I hear you. Don't try it, player. Don't go there, player. So, I thought, again, my path is going to be changing. I already can see it. If I find something out there, I now have funding to do pretty much anything I want to do. I could set up retreats. So after talking to Michael the other day, finding out some of his family members are in the process of going to some spiritual retreats, learning, teaching, doing things, holding some of their own, and they have big dreams to open up little session areas where they businesses where they could do sessions like that. And I say businesses, I don't know if it would be a for-profit or not, probably a non-profit where, I don't know, fees, minimal fees or free or whatever. I don't know, but they're getting into it now. Like, and that's what he's telling me. Like, his wife is out of control everywhere. Ceremony here, got to go over there. Plane ticket. And I told him, I said, listen, you can use some of this donation money that's coming in that I did the video yesterday, whatever. I think it's okay if you need to help on some of those flights with your wife, because I know you paid for a lot. You mentioned you're back in the working thing now when you probably should be retired to help pay for some of the expense. I said, if you need to do it, go for it. But he ended up replying later. He's like, no. He goes, nope, I'm not going to use this for the flights. I won't. Nope, can't do it. And I'm like, well, you can, just so you know, you can. It's okay. If you got to take care of yourself too, you take care of other people. I'm giving you some money, and my subscribers, many of them have pitched in. Like, it's okay. Like, take a little load off if you need to. But he's just pretty adamant. No, I only want this to go to people who really, really need it. And I said, okay, you're the boss of this. Like, it's yours now. I don't have to manage it. Like, he's not that guy that was a former drug addict that, he's going to spend it on drugs. No. He already had his fund set up. He already had this thing where he helps people. He's got a little pool of money that when things happen, here, let me help you out. Let me pay your rent. And I'm like, yeah, I already knew that. Yeah, you're good. So is there going to be a day where, hey guys, we moved to the Southwest part-time, half the year? I don't know. We're holding spiritual retreats. JC's coming, Dave's coming, Psychic so-and-so's coming, Sharon Michelle, Desert, I don't know, Penny Kelly's coming, White Dove's coming, everybody. I don't know. But that would be really, really cool. Have some acreage out in the desert. Watch that beautiful night sky. Pure, clean air. No smog, nothing. It's a thought and it's a dream that I'd love to fulfill. Talk about a bug out location. Thank you. But I've got to find this stuff first. So, I know I've told the story before. And since I'm already 24 minutes into this, I might as well finish telling you what the Indian told me. Again, in case any new people, 5 or 10 or whoever who's joined my channel wants to hear this, about me treasure hunting and all that. He finally gets to me and tells me to walk around the medicine stuff and then sit down. He follows behind me, very seriously following behind, like he's doing something, I don't know what, but he's very serious about the way he was walking, his pattern, his whatever you want to call it, the way he was walking. It wasn't just walking regular. It was kind of like stealthily, sneakily behind you, although he's behind you, of course. So there was a method to his madness, if you will. and then sit down. Okay. And he's just staring at me like this. You look up, like, yeah, I'm getting it. Okay, yeah, that. Okay, yeah. I'll tell him this. Yeah, okay. He wasn't saying that, but that's the kind of vibe I got. The way he was, his mannerisms. And he just looks right back at me again, staring through my soul. And I'm looking at him, like waiting to hear him talk, because usually he was already talking by then. I'm like, a little awkward, but very serious. He's got something to say, and I'm going to sit here in silence until he says something. And it wasn't that long, but yeah, he was just getting a download, I guess, and was just watching it, viewing it in his mind. I don't know. I never asked him what was happening. Just I'm here. Do what you got to do. I'm the student or whatever. I'm the whatever. So he says, "You're going to be a very, very wealthy man. Very wealthy. You're going to do a lot of good. I see you doing lots of good. You're going to help a lot of people. I think you might even spoil a couple people. I can see a couple people you're going to spoil a couple of people too. But you're going to do good." Wow. And I said, well, there goes, in my mind, I'm like, well, there goes me not wanting to tell him about what I'm trying to find in these mountains. I have to say it now. I can't leave that alone. Because truth be told, I don't know that cryptos would ever get me the kind of wealth that he's talking about, that I could help the kind of amounts of people, like, I don't think crypto could do it for me. So I'm like, okay, now I've got to tell him. The hell with my foot problem. I'm not even going. I'm just going to go tell him what it is, and then kind of sneak into, can I have permission? Do you think I have permission from Great Spirit to do this? So I tell him, I'm looking for something in these mountains over here. Mind you, these are not mountains that have running water. Typically, if you're a gold prospector, you need running water, tap into it to, wash the dirt and rock and all that. Like, you're going to go out there and dry pan. It's desert mountain. So, in other words, for someone to go up there prospecting for, like, nuggets and that kind of thing would be, honestly, a bit on the stupid side. Like, what are you doing up there for that? So, all I said was, I'm looking for something in these mountains. That's it. Never met the guy. He never met me. He had no idea. And then he says, I know what you're looking for. I know what you're looking for. He tells his wife, hey, honey, go in the house and get me the black one, the black bag. Yep, the black one. She walks in this person's house that they were at, comes right out with the black bag, unzips it like a backpack, digging around, pulls this little clear plastic thing with a lid. In the middle of this thing was a gold flake. He shoves it in my face. He goes, you're looking for this, aren't you? Not this little thing, but gold. And I'm like, yeah, I am. He goes, you're going to find it? Almost like he was excited, like, oh, like he just heard, he's going to find it? You're going to find it. Like, excited for me. You're going to find it. As to how he kind of said it to me. Yeah, you're going to find it. And wait a minute. There's other ones too. So, like, you'll find the one you're looking for, and then there's other ones. You're going to find those too. Again, like, kind of excited for me. Like, you're going to find those too. I'm like, oh, well, yeah, okay. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, this thing, I think they've had a lot of spots they hid stuff and never came back to get it. So, yeah, we've heard stories, and I'd like to find one, and sure enough, I'd like to find another one. And if I could find the first one, maybe I could buy the most badass equipment ever that would help me find the other ones. Although I've already bought some stuff that was pretty expensive to help in this adventure. The day I saw him, I got this like $4,000 ground scanner thing that I got, which came in that day. So he's like, yeah, you're going to find those too. So I said, well, that's cool. I'm like, I feel like I need permission though. Like, this was sacred grounds. I know it was. And I want to, I said, you said I'm going to help a lot of people. Some of the people I want to help are actually the Indian people. Like, I made a contract, I promised, my God or spirit that I would, if I ever had the opportunity to find something like this and I found it, I would actually help those people big time. And I said, because of that, I felt like I almost need the great, the Indians call it Great Spirit. I need the permission. Like I'm asking, can I have permission? So he goes, he kind of pauses and steps back a little bit and looks off to the side, and it's like, I can see he's getting a little download. Looks back at me. Yeah. Go get it. Go get it. It's yours. Go get it. Yeah, you have permission. And then I think I asked him, like, are you giving me permission, or is that like, like the spirit, Great Spirit? He's like, oh no. And again, I don't know if he pointed or looked up. I was like, no, you have permission. You can get it. And then he's like, well, just be careful. Bring an offering, maybe tobacco, but there are spirits up there. So just be careful, be respectful, bring an offering. They're Apache spirits. And he goes, no. Comanche spirits. Be careful. But you can go. You have permission. He goes, oh, and when you go up there and these other places, your feet are going to hurt. Let me heal your feet. So he gets his feathers out, dips them in his medicine bowl, wipes my feet. Without me ever saying a word about my foot problem. He did wipe other people's feet, some of them, in this ritual, but he never told them, your feet are going to hurt, let me do this. It was just part of the process, what he was doing. And he specifically told me, when you go and do these things, your feet are going to hurt. Let me heal them. So I was like, wow, I got both the things that I wanted, permission and my foot thing. Never told him about any of them until he started talking to me, about the other thing. And so again, the next day, me and my wife go up there for her first time on this sacred site, and we hear, again, I can't tell the story yet. A spirit of some type presented itself to me and my wife. It scared us at first because I didn't know what it was, what it meant. So we got the hell out of there fast. She scratched her knees up on the way down. She stayed in the Jeep. I went back up because I said, I'm going to get that scan. I'm going to get that scan with this damn thing. We waited here an extra week to get this thing. I'm going to go get my scan. I want to see if there's a void under there. I go back up, scared, by myself, although I had my gun in my pocket, just in case, whatever. Not that that's going to do anything against any kind of spirit thing, but at the time I didn't know it was a spirit. But went back, it wasn't there, and then all of a sudden it did it again, presented itself to me right before I was about to scan. And I'm like, is this thing telling me, like, basically don't do that here? Or is it just presenting itself to me? I don't know. Since I don't know, I'm taking the path of non-disrespect. So I'm leaving. Spent an extra week, went through all that trouble, didn't get a scan, I left. But found out later it was an extremely honorable experience. And I got back to my house 3 weeks later. Well, I was already back before that, but it was 3 weeks later I was at my house when I decided to reach out to this spirit thing. At my house, by myself, walking to the man cave. And literally asked out loud for it to, can you present yourself now that I know it was an honorable thing, and I am honored. I'm ready for you now. I can handle it. 2 days later, I got it in my house, in my bedroom. Literally, I'm in the closet right now. Feet away from me. If I walk out this door, it happened right in my bedroom. So I know it's an honorable thing. I am honored to have this happen to me, but I am one impatient son of a gun. I want to get out there now. I want to find this now. I'm ready to move forward now. I want to help these people now. But little baby Ian said, nope, you're not going on your trip on the 10th. I'm being born on the 7th, late at night. Sorry, Pops, you're going to have to stay. Okay. But now he's a month early. I'm thinking, me and Emily, my daughter, maybe we'll go in March for just a few days and get my drone thing going with the thermal camera. Just spend a day, few days with my daughter out there, just me and her. She's like, oh, but Daddy, I want to dig. I actually want to dig, man. I want to dig. I'm like, well, no, me and you aren't just, no, it's too much for you and I to just No. But I was like, wait a minute. When we went back in September and November, those last couple of days in September, I'm like, oh, let me go around to the side of this area where another psychic told me go around to the back side and look around. And it kind of has a back side. It's really more of a triangle side, but of this cliff. But I'm like, all right, whatever. There's interesting tree sitting over there. It's dead as can be. Been dead for God knows how long. But it's still standing and it's just sitting there. There's 3 of them. Spaced apart. The first 2 are down and bad shape. They died a long time ago, but they fell over and they were small. The third one was a bigger tree. The furthest one away, not that it was far, it was only 100 feet away, but it's on a cliffside, so it might take you 2 or 3 minutes to get to it, just being safe and slow. And I go over there by myself at this time. My buddies were at the other place digging, right around the corner. And I said, guys, I'm gonna go over here and just check this out. And I'm looking at that tree and I'm telling myself, that tree is calling me over there right now. I need to go see this damn tree. So I go over there. I put my hands on the tree and just push a little bit, and it wiggles, the whole tree. Like, it's just there with dead roots, everything on the side of this cliff. And I'm like, how did this even get here to grow here? There's not even like stuff for it to, there's like not even soil really here. Was this like put here as a marker or something like a long time ago? I mean, maybe, I don't know. So I hands are on the tree and I say, man, boy, tree, whatever. I said, boy, I bet you could tell me a story or two about this whole area, this place. The trees, how long these things can last. And some of these trees, I've looked up the types, and they can live, I think, up to 600 years, some of them. I thought, well, this history I'm looking for is not 600 years. It's only 300 to 400 max. So anyway, so I'm like, cool. So I turn around, basically my back facing the tree now. And there's only about 4 foot of space between me and the tree. And then there's like this canyon, or not canyon, it's really a cliff wall. And I can look up it to the next layer way up there and all that. And I'm looking down right at my feet. And I see a triangular cutout right at the base of where I'm standing into the side of this little mountain. This cliffside. About 3 feet long. And it's in the shape of a triangle cutout right inside this thing. And inside the triangle is a triangle-shaped large rock that's flat on the top. That almost fits in there perfectly, but there's about 2 inches of space on the right, about 2 inches of space on the left, and about 3 or 4 inches of space on the very point of this triangle. Now normally if a triangle's up like the top of a pyramid, it would be this shape. But since I'm standing there looking at it, it's going into the mountain, so it's like you laid the triangle down, if you will, and pushed it in. So think of an arrowhead like pushed into the side of the mountain. But the thing was like this thick. It probably weighed 150 pounds if it didn't go into the earth anymore, if it was just sitting there, my estimate. And I'm like, it's sticking out, the base of the triangle is sticking out several inches. And Dave, I said, guys, come over here, man. I called them, I think I had their little walkie-talkie, I don't remember, or I just yelled. I'm like, hey, come over here. So they come, and we're looking at this, and Dave's like, well, I think, maybe, is it possible that it just broke off and fell right there on that spot? He goes, it kind of fits in there perfectly, like, think it fell. And I said, well, there were stacked rocks on the center of this triangle touching the roof. So if the rock, let's just, for purposes here, is this big, okay, the rock's this thick, the roof of the triangle cutout, let's say, was another 6 inches higher. So I could stick my fist or hand on top of the triangle and touch the roof, if you will. But when I first got there, I couldn't, because there was a stack of rocks on the center of the triangle touching the roof of this. I actually thought it had eroded or something in that fashion, and that was just natural something. But I'm like, well, where did the water to come to erode this? I'm not seeing like any holes or anything like. But yet it looked like it was attached to the top of the cliff, this area, and in the rock. So I thought, wow, is this all one piece of rock? It looks like it. But I just had this feeling, well, touch it, wiggle it, see what happens. And I'm doing that, and a little bit's moving. I'm like, oh, damn. So I go to the topmost piece that's touching the top of the roof of this thing. Again, it's only a space about 10 inches tall. And I start wiggling a little piece, and it comes out. And the first piece is about the size of like maybe my finger, a little bit squiggly. And I pull it out, and I'm like, huh. I put it back in. It fits perfectly like a puzzle, and it wasn't just straight. Like it had a little bit of a curve, so it like fit right in there. I was like, damn. Well, you know, all that pressure, it cracked. All these things cracked, and well, yeah, they'd fit together if they cracked. You know, okay, maybe that's what happened. So they're brittle. So I take the thing, I drop it, I pull another piece out, push it back in, it fits perfectly. Now I'm like, this is very odd. I don't think these are part of the mountain at all. So I yank it out and I throw it hard against the wall. It doesn't break. I pull the rest of the piece out, throw it down hard, doesn't break. Thinking again, if this is brittle and this happened, why wouldn't any of these break further? And I'm throwing them down pretty hard. I mean, I'm not trying to smash them, but hard enough that it should break. And then I'm like, oh, that was layer one. There's a secondary layer. Let me pull a piece out. Sure enough, another one. No. Holy crap, throwing them down, they don't break. Now there's another layer. Like, let's just call it an inch each layer. You got to be kidding me. There's another one. I pulled down 5 or 6 layers, and now they're all gone. And then I'm realizing, after I wipe off the little dust and dirt off the top of this triangle rock where they were sitting, they were not attached at all. They were sitting there, and it was so precise. There wasn't, you couldn't see an inch of like air gap, light, nothing. It was so perfect. I realized this is unbelievable precision for this to be that way. How the hell is this? Like, there's something going on here. So then I looked down at that triangle rock, and there's a little rock. So I told you the base of the triangle was closer to me because it was pointing in towards the mountain. And just a few inches, 2-3 inches away from that is this rock that looks like a dog face sitting on its side like this, all the way on its side with the little slight sliver mouth open. And I've rubbed my hand against the eyeball, and it actually protrudes in a circular, like an eyeball would if you were doing a rock sculpture. It actually protruded out, and I put my hand over it and finger it, and I'm like, holy crap. I then go to try to move this rock, and it doesn't move, except the jaw did move, and I think the ear moved. And I started to wiggle them, and they both moved. I'm like, so I'm looking at a dog rock, right where this triangle is, and has its mouth open. Eyeball, ears, okay. I read one of these old books that I had, and it mentioned, if you ever come across an animal-shaped rock with its mouth open, it means this is a covered tunnel. There's a opening here somewhere, covered opening. And I didn't know that at the time, but when I got home, something was bugging me. Go get that old book you got. Open it up and just read it again. And I get to that page, and I totally forgot about it. And there it is hitting me in the face. If you ever find a rock with a face shaped like an animal, and the dog face rocks, by the way, were very important to the Spanish. The royal poodle was their main dog. It means covered opening. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a triangle here that does not fit in. I mean, it fits in there, but if I shoved it all the way in, there'd still be a gap. Doesn't make sense. And why is the tail end of this thing poking out so many inches? And Dave says, well, maybe it fits in perfectly. I said, well, all right, let me get a little stick here for a measuring tool. So I shoved the stick in at the tip of the top of the triangle to see how many inches forward before it would hit the wall if we could shove it in. And let's say it was 4 inches. And so I grabbed the stick. Okay, there's the end. Got it. Pulled the stick out with my finger on it. Now, how far is this protruding out away from this canyon wall in front of us? And it was way more than 4 inches. It was like, 8 inches or something. So I'm like, well, even if it did shove all the way in, you'd still have a tail section of this 4 inches worth sticking out. There's no way you have this one little step thing sticking out when the rest of this is untouched like that. There's no way. So I had Sharon Michelle look at that and the picture, and she goes, I don't know if it leads to what you're looking for, like your other thing. She goes, but I do sense this is not like a tunnel that goes in, but goes down. Like this one goes down. And she goes, and I don't know why, but I feel just utter sadness. Whatever's attached to that is just, gosh, I feel so sad about it. I don't know why. Just sadness. I thought, okay. So I'm telling you this because I could take my daughter Emily to that spot with little tiny hand tools and just dig around that triangle to find the edges and see how deep is this. Because I already dug down between the dog face and the triangle about 3 or 4 inches, probably 4 inches down. and there was more of the triangle. So what I thought was this much triangle sticking out, say 4 inches, is probably 8 inches. So if I thought this damn thing was 100, 150 pounds, it's probably 300 pounds. And if it's there covering a hole, well, I'd like to find it. So I took my scanner, that 3D scanner, and ran it over there, and it does look like there could be a void. So I thought, now that's interesting. So you want to dig, Emily? I've got a little spot where you and I can go. You dig on one little side, I'll dig on the other. We could use the little small hand tool, to dig and see what happens. So that, I think, is maybe something that I do with her. If I can get all the droning done that I want to do, which I should, and then maybe spend half a day up there doing that, see if we can maybe uncover something, a hole, or, dig on the side of it, and oh my gosh, there was a hole there, something, I don't know. So anyways, that's, I guess, all I got to tell you about that part. I don't know how much of the triangle story I've told you guys so far, maybe not too much. I do have pictures of this triangle. Not on this laptop though, actually. So is it on my, might actually be on my phone. Let me pause this, because if it is, I'll just show you a quick peek of it on my phone. All right, here's a picture of my phone, and you can see how far it's sticking out. It's not very big. Right behind my back, maybe 2 feet, is the tree, which is out of view. So here's the inside of the area on top of the rock, the triangle, that you can see there's a little gap in the front of it. And you see the top of the ceiling there is like, what, 5-6 inches? There was a pile of rock perfectly set in the center only that fit perfectly to the top of that thing. Like, you see that little lip, like right up here, right up in there? Picture that size all the way down to that rock, 5 inches or so, each layer like that, boop, boop, and little pieces of each. So it wasn't like I took one rock out and there went the whole layer. It was one piece of a rock that made up the layer, and it may have taken 3 or 4 or 5 pieces to get rid of that layer and then down, and they all fit like a puzzle. And I just thought that was fascinating and peculiar. So you can see it's exciting, it's neat, there's discovery. Not that that's not a major discovery, it's a freaking rock at this point, but like, what are the chances that this thing's found behind this tree that shouldn't be growing there? That's dead as can be, and it's been sitting there for God knows how many years, just dead as can be, as a marker, I guess, is again my opinion, to say, hey, there's something here, go look around. I go over there, touch the tree, speak to it, turn around, oh, what's this on the ground right before my eyes? You got to be kidding me. So that would be a cool thing maybe I could do with Emily. So anyways, quite a long video here, but I hope you enjoyed it. Some of you already heard most of the story, like, I already heard that, Joe. But whatevs. Take care.